All right, so we're going to get started with one of, to me, the most important topics we've covered so far. And I'll tell you why I think it's so important. Have you heard the saying that says culture eats strategy for breakfast? Have you ever heard that? And what it really means is all your best laid plans, every single bit of your dates, your goal setting, and all of your systems, yeah, they're great. They're absolutely great. But guess what? If the people implementing those plans are not passionate about what they're doing, it doesn't matter. I wrote down a couple of things that I want to say before I introduce Diamond Alita Langford, who is traveling with her family and still hopping on because she is all about living the culture she's created for her team and for herself. It says culture is vulnerable to the people bringing it to life. Culture happens whether you work on it or not. I mean, it's just like when someone says, they don't have like a belief system or a religion. Well, their religion is not having it. Same thing. If you don't work on culture, it doesn't matter. Then you've created a non-culture culture. Okay. And then finally, it says if people implement the plan and aren't passionate, and this is what I said just a minute ago about the vision, they don't execute it right. So all of the hard work is for naught. And so this is where it starts, people. This is what really matters. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, Alita. I'm going to mute myself and I'll keep muting people as they hop on.
You're awesome. Can you hear me okay? Thank you for sharing those quotes. I love that. So I was really excited when Jen asked me to talk about this tonight because I thought this is something I'm really passionate about. And it kind of just worked out really great, which, you know, my mindset could have been like, this is awful. I'm traveling. I hope it's, you know, they hope they can hear me and it's not too dark and all the things. But I realized that I'm living the life I wanted to lead. And I'm living the life I want my team to know they have the freedom to do. So we took all 7 of our kids. You can say hi, you guys. They've all got headphones in. But we've taken them and my husband, yay, for driving. We took them to Branson. We went to the Ozarks, okay? Just a random trip and it was super fun. We have a great time and we're driving. So I want you to know that you can live your wildest dreams. They do come true. And if you will put the hard work in. And so I want to talk about team culture. What does that mean? What is it all about? And what can you do? Maybe you're silver, maybe you just started, maybe you're gold, maybe you're senior gold, maybe you're diamond, whatever rank you are. Maybe you're wondering, what the heck is team culture and how do I create it on my team? So to me, team culture is community. That is the word I would use. It's connection and community. And without it, you don't have a strong team. You're going to struggle with drama. You're going to struggle with lots of different things, retention issues, all of those things. And so when you can build a strong culture, a strong community, you're definitely on the road to a very strong foundational business. So network marketing is relationships. It's connecting and it's being in relationships. So a couple of things that you can do to start creating that is to, one, get a vision. Get a vision. Does your team know where you're going? I was talking on my power hour this morning and I said, does your team know what your goal is? Do they know where you're going? You need to have a vision. So Christina, maybe you're going to hop onto your team chat and you're going to say, hey guys, I'm going for gold in the month of March. How about you guys? Letting your team know what your goals are. Stephanie Farren with your awesome glasses and gorgeous hair, you could be like, hey guys, I'm going for emerald. Like, we're doing this. And really letting people know where you're going. One thing, I did a lot of things wrong, I'll tell you that. But something I did was my team always knew where my heart was and where I was headed. And I was headed for diamond. So whether it took me 6 months to go diamond or whether it took me 5 years or 10 years, they knew that I was in it till diamond. Letting your team know, having a vision is so important. People will connect and commit into a mission-minded system. So when they feel like they're part of something, what is their part to your team? What is their part? So something, and Megan Milakovic is on here tonight, and she'll be sharing something that she shared that I love is she would always say it's just one person at a time. And when we can let people know, hey, you're one person that you're recruiting, your one friend is making a difference for our community. It is building our mission and our where we're headed. Like, you are part of that. So the vision is huge. It is really important, and to let your team know that. Okay, so getting the real clear visions, that's number one. Number two, meet regularly. Okay, plugging into all these big team things is awesome, and definitely you want to do that. But maybe every other week, or maybe you have a chat group, you're meeting regularly with your team where you're the leader and you're letting them know, again, what's your vision? You're reminding them of where you're headed. You're connecting to them. You're coming up with goals for your team. Something I loved to do was to set team-wide goals. Hey, we're going to have 10 people join us this month. That's going to be awesome. And count down with your team and maybe have a prize for just your team. So really connecting in and having those meetings with them regularly. Okay, create leaders, not managers. So here's an awesome one. This is one that I was thinking a lot about, because I realized that when you're creating leaders, that can sound scary, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to create leaders. Here's how you do it. You listen to a podcast and you share it with your team. You read a book together with your team and learn with your team. All of the thing about creating a leader is you being vulnerable, that you don't know everything, admitting to that and saying, but I'm here to learn and grow with you. It is such a powerful, dynamic piece to creating culture. So really letting them know, hey, I'm not here to manage you. I'm not here to boss you around. I'm here to create you into being a strong leader yourself, as I grow into a leader myself too. So really being willing to learn and grow with your team. Okay, I wrote it on the back of a checkbook, y'all. This is how professional I am. We got this, okay? The last thing I wrote down was get to know your people, my friends. Get to know your people. Do you know your level twos? Do you know what's going on with them? Connecting in, connection. And so that's why meeting regularly with people can build such great connection, because you know what's going on with them and you can get excited. Now, my favorite part of team culture is fun. You've got to have a little fun. So maybe doing like a team-wide goal, like we talked about. Maybe you run a little incentive or a little contest with them. Maybe you just connect in and you're like, hey, who's going for the 2 people this week, because you get the extra $50. It is a game changer when you feel like you have somebody doing this with you. So you're on here, you're on this call because you want something more for your family, something more for your business. You want to grow it. The best and fastest way to grow is to connect into your team, create a powerful, unstoppable culture, and you will see growth that you never ever dreamed possible. And so the most important part of your culture is that you have cast the vision of where you're going. So in the comments, tell me where you're going. Where are you going? What is your purpose? I loved coming up with a mission statement. When we first started, our team page was called what still is, we're called the Diamond Mines. So it was right in the title. I wanted people to know where I was going. And I also would always say our mission is that nobody pays for their products. So come up with a little mission statement for yourself that you can share with your team and really create that culture. So that's kind of what I got. Have fun with it. Be yourself. You are your culture. You are. So be the community. People joined you for you. So Tabitha's going for Emerald. I love it. So making sure that we have that vision that's clear cut in front of us.
Fantastic. And one of the things that I noticed quickly, guys, when Alita joined, she went on her way, starting her team page, really running her own meetings. She was creating that culture from the very beginning. And so if you start to invest in your team and start showing up and doing this, don't expect it to happen overnight. They're going to watch and wait and see if they can trust. And once you start creating that, we've said it before, I'll say it again, people will come for the products and leave for the products. Come for the business and leave for the business. It didn't work. Couldn't do it. But they will not leave relationship. They will not. And so that is really your end goal of what you're trying to create for your team. Alita, that was fantastic. I so appreciate you. And I know that you actually do what you say, and all that she trained you on, that's actually real stuff, y'all. It's not, oh, would this sound good or smart? It's actually what she's doing. So you can follow her lead. All right. So we're going to move on and
Thanks, Jen.
talk. You're welcome, hon. We're going to talk with my friend Steph. Steph is an emerald in the company, and we were chit-chatting one day, and she shared with me something she was doing with her team, and I thought, man, that right there is genius. That's her working in her zone of genius and really serving her team. So I'm excited for her to share about culture creation on her team and how she's developing, and also seeing what she's creating for herself as a leader along the way. So I'm going to mute, and Steph, you take over.
Thanks, guys. Alita, that was awesome. I have a page of notes, so thank you. And as you were talking, I thought of so many different points that I didn't jot down in my own notes, but oh my gosh, it is so important to have a strong team culture. Now, whether you are a team that is all, believers, whether you are all hikers or, all young moms, whatever you guys have in common, it's so important to have just that common ground that you can relate and really just build a sense of community and connection. So I love that you touched on community and connection, because those are the two words that are always on the forefront of my mind. Whenever I'm going to reach out to my team, everyone probably has a messenger chat for all of their leaders. Maybe you have just a silver or going silver chat. Maybe you have a team page, or maybe you don't have a team page yet, but you have some way of connecting and communicating with your team. So one thing that Jen just touched on, I'm gonna go back and talk a little bit about that. But something that I think is really important for like practical ways that you can start to build community, despite being totally virtual. So tell me in the chat if you don't have any local team, people that you do not get to meet with. So I don't have any local team. I just moved to a new state. I was in my previous state for like 5 years, and I had a local community there. A bunch of girls joined my team, and now I'm in a brand new state and don't know anyone. And we're in the middle of this pandemic and we're snowed in. So how do you build community, right, when you're just completely virtual? Something that I really think is so important that we can't ever forget about is connecting with our teammates that has nothing to do with Plexus. It is so important to build that relationship with them and make sure that you're connecting with them and having those conversations about their kids, about what's going on in their lives. Hold on one second. I want to call. You have to go. Okay.
There's a bus question you to get.
Okay, you have to leave.
It's scratchy.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so checking in personally, not about Plexus. So in the past, I reached out to a business builder just to connect with them and see, how they were doing. And the first thing they said to me was they apologized for being MIA in the business. And that made me realize that I was not being intentional about my reach outs to them. They were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I plan to get back into it. I'm just so sorry. Like, I haven't been around for Plexus, but I'm going to get back. I was like, girl, Plexus aside, like, what's going on in your family? Like, tell me what's going on. I've noticed that you haven't been present in the chat. Like, what's going on in your family? So it is so important to remember relationships first, because at the end of the day, they might walk away from Plexus, but what is your friendship going to look like after that? And we should never sacrifice our friendships and our relationships just for Plexus. So being intentional with that. So the thing that that actually made me realize that I needed to do something more to like bridge that and get people together, because I realized I know people from all walks of life. My husband is in the military. So I have friends from there, and grew up in New York, lived in Virginia. Anyway, I have friends from all over, and they didn't know each other. And I was the only thing that was kind of like bringing them together. And it was like kind of walking into an awkward party. So what does that look like? How do you get people together? So what I decided to do was, like Alita said, meeting every week, meeting regularly. But rather than jumping on a Zoom, because sometimes that's intimidating for new people, they don't want to be on camera, or they don't know if they're going to have to say something and they're going to get put on the spot. So what we did was we created a room inside of Facebook Messenger. And what I found was it was a little less intimidating, and people seem to enjoy just jumping right over there. And once you have the link, you can copy that link and send it to whoever, and they just jump right into the room, because they're already in Messenger. I mean, I do most of my business from either Instagram messaging or Facebook messaging. So it's already right there. They don't have to remember your Zoom ID and your password and copy the link to Zoom and download the app. It's all right there in Facebook Messenger. So it's easier, it's more comfortable. We have some older women in my team, and they just prefer to jump right in there. And it's just easier. So what I did was, to get away from my children, I went downstairs and sat in front of my fireplace, and we just nicknamed it the Fireside Chats. And so we would just kind of connect with each other every Thursday night, Fireside Chats. And it's really just spending time and learning about your team so that you can intuitively meet them where they're at. And what I found to be true about that was, like, people are not always going to tell you what's going on in their lives, and you don't have to be nosy and you don't have to know it all, but you can kind of sense intuitively as their leader when they are not 100% on, like fully on in your team at that moment. And of course, we all go through phases where, like, there are other priorities in our lives that have to come forefront, and Plexus has to kind of take a step back. And meeting with them and seeing who was going to show up to the Fireside Chats, even though they had stuff going on in their lives, it helped me see, okay, who can I really challenge to get back in the game? Who can I motivate? Who can I work with one-on-one? Laura Robinson gave me a really great idea of taking 7 to 10 days and doing like a totally focused shadowing with someone and really taking them under my wing. So I could see in those Fireside Chats, okay, who can I single out this week and really work with them because they're in it, but they're struggling. And then I could also see who really I need to just stand there and support and put my arm around them, love them where they're at, and not challenge them because that will push them away because they're really struggling right now with something in their family. And ultimately the way that we started is, you know, we kind of just chat for a while, and that's okay. But just keeping in mind that time is precious. And I think, thinking about their family life, what their kids need, what their spouse needs, and what they need as a person, as a business owner, they might only have 1 hour a day to set aside for Plexus. And if that whole hour is taken up with a Fireside Chat, that leaves them no time to actually work on their personal business and catch up with their team or catch up with potentials. So time is precious. Maybe keep it to a half an hour light chat, and then really get to inspiration. So I always start to, like, I started off by like either kind of asking what kind of prayer requests they might have. You might have a team that is mixed, maybe like some believers, some not believers. So you want to be sensitive to that. But ultimately, like, I'm a praying woman. And so I want to know what's on your heart, and I'm going to pray for you, whether you like it or not. And that's okay. Of course, like, I just want to know for my personal, like, just how is everyone doing? How can I pray for you in my own quiet time? And, I think it's really important to be human with your team and just to let them know kind of where you feel like you're failing and where you might feel like there is a deficiency, and asking them for feedback during that time too, because, you know, defenses are down, their guard is down, like, you can actually have a real chat. Like, guys, I'm struggling with time management this week. How can I serve you better without like wasting your time? I don't want to flood our chat with, you know, extra chatter. I just really want to be of really good service to you. Use our time wisely. Like, how can I help you and serve you this week? And really get them to open up and give you that feedback. And like Alita said, like, the best leaders are always learning. And that is so true for me. I feel like whenever I'm stagnant in my business, or I feel like things are dry and my warm market is kind of tapped out, I'm like, okay, tap into personal growth and ask more questions. Like, good leaders ask good questions. Go and ask questions to your team. What are we lacking? What do you see that we could fill in? You know, how can I serve you better? And then something that I like to do for them is asking them, what are they proud of that week? And that could be something like, hey, my kid mastered potty training. And like asking them to shout themselves out, and no one is allowed to skip or say, I don't know. Everyone has to say what they're proud of. And it could be like, I cooked a bomb meal like tonight and all my kids ate it. Like that is something to be proud of. And it could be like, I totally got out of my comfort zone and I reached out to somebody that I was really intimidated by, and like they said they would look at more information. That is huge. And everyone needs to be able to celebrate themselves. It boosts their own confidence. And after they do that, then we can all celebrate them too. What else? Oh, so this is going to go into like what Megan's going to talk about, but I just wanted to briefly share personal growth. So when new people come on board, they're still trying to get their footing and they might not have time to prioritize personal growth. So what I do is I invest in the personal growth for them and I set the example. So that I can inspire them, and then I can trickle those lessons down when we do these fireside chats. So I kind of do my personal growth during the week. I might write down a quick like nugget of inspiration that I find from an audiobook. I'm a audiobook junkie. I don't do like actual written books because I have to be like loading the dishwasher while I'm listening. So, and also podcasts. Megan's podcast is like on repeat in my house. So personal growth. So I invest in whatever I want them to learn for the week. Maybe it's just like one little quote, but I can trickle that down to them if they haven't had time to really invest in it. And then I can always circle back to that when they are saying, hey, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Okay, well, where's your personal growth at? Maybe now is the time that we can prioritize that, because you don't really have a warm market that you're working on, that you are spending a lot of time reaching out and doing all these messaging. You might be like, put that to the side for now, and then I'm going to work on my personal growth. So leading by example for that. And then real quick, I wanted to say that when you have a really strong team culture, it is going to serve you when you are up for a huge rank promotion and you need that team to rally around you. I saw this happen personally. I know Alita has like an amazing rah-rah story about how her team like totally rallied around her. And I've seen it happen so many times with so many jewels, so many diamonds, just making things happen because of their team working with them. That will always serve you in the long run. It happened to me the night of July 31st, like 12 o'clock midnight. I needed that one last order and it came through at midnight. And oh my gosh, the rush. I do not recommend doing that. But I will say that because we had that team culture, all of my team knew what my goal was. They were pushing with me the entire month. They supported me. They prayed for me. They encouraged me. They heard me crying. They heard my desperation. They knew what this would mean for my family and my son. And they rose to the occasion. They did everything they could. And that wound up being, just such a huge blessing. And I can't imagine trying to go for a goal like that without having that support. And that doesn't mean that I had 100 people working on going silver or going gold or whatever. It might be a small huddle, and that's okay. Like, who you have in your circle, if they are strong and they know what your goal is and they're able to hold you up in prayer and just hustle with you, it doesn't matter if you have 5 people or 100 people. So anyway, real quick, before naked children come in the room, 4 books that I want you guys to write down, audiobooks or regular books. 1 second, sweetie. 1 second. I'm just going to tell them what these books are. The first one that is like my go-to, I listen to it all the time. It's You Are the Girl for the Job by Jessica Connolly. Write it down, listen to it, listen to it on repeat. It is so good. You Are the Girl for the Job. Second one is Draw the Circle by Mark Batterson. It's a 40-day prayer challenge. And this will fuel your business. It's called Draw the Circle, and it's written by the same guy who wrote Chase the Lion, which is also amazing. The next one is Pep Talk by Terry Foy. And the audiobook is a little bit annoying. Like her voice is a little annoying. I'll just say that out loud. But like, if you want to read the paper book, it's also really, really good. There's tons of affirmations in there that are just so, so, so good. And then the last one was written by Dr. Phil's wife, Jennifer Rothschild, and it's called Me, Myself, and Lies. And I just really love that book. It's all about like reframing your mindset and the lies that we tell ourselves. Okay, that's all I have for you. And Megan is going to take it over now and talk to you a little bit more about personal growth. I just kind of touched on it, but I hope that was a blessing for you guys. And I'm so blessed to be on such an amazing team with an amazing culture. I think we all embody the One Plexus spirit.
Steph, that was amazing. Is anybody else sitting here being like, can I come to your fireside chat with you and can we be besties? I mean, literally, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, like this is so good. It's like, yes, that's why you have such a strong team culture. You love so deeply, you care about people, you're doing all the things that a leader would do. Even as far as like when she's talking about the personal growth and the mindset and sharing that with her team, like, you're doing the work, you're investing in your mindset, and you're dropping nuggets of wisdom down for people. That is what a leader does. You grow personally and you will watch your business absolutely explode. It's one of the biggest things that I will say that's a misconception about network marketing. And I think that this is why people like myself who have never had work experience, right, can come into something like this. Someone who, you know, I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I did not have a business bone in my body, okay? I didn't even know how I was getting paid for the first 6 months of this journey. I was like, what is even happening? Like, I didn't understand anything. But what I did know is that I wanted to become a better version of me, not just for my business, but for my family. And you don't just do that through amazing products. It's a combination of a lot of things. It's our amazing products. That's the first step, right? You get in the door, you're fueling your body with the things that it needs. But the thoughts that we have are really toxic, you guys. And we all know, and we talk about, you know, with Plexus, that we're all about gut health and eliminating toxins and all these kinds of things. But the thoughts that you're thinking on a regular basis, if you start to really pay attention to those, you will notice that your mind, most of the time, will drift towards negative thoughts. We spend so much of our daily lives just speaking lies over ourselves. And when you can start to wake up and you can start to realize, like, oh my goodness, I am actually capable of doing more. The stories that people have told me my whole life about who I am no longer have power over me. It doesn't matter what other people have said. It doesn't matter what other people think, because you can't deposit their opinions into your bank account. But you know what you can deposit? When you start pouring into personal growth, you can deposit that. You can take that all the way to the bank. That's what I've done. I mean, literally, you guys, you start pouring into yourself, you start developing personally, and your business will naturally grow. Okay. So many times I hear, tell me the strategy. What's the strategy? I just need the steps. I need to know what I'm doing. And if I know what I'm doing, then I'm going to be able to be successful at this. And it literally doesn't work that way. Okay. Like the things that Alita and Steph shared, those are amazing. And I would highly recommend that you implement them into your business. Okay. You always want to be learning. You always want to be growing and applying new things and trying different things out. But if you don't believe that you can actually do this and you don't believe that you can actually be successful, when you hit that first bump in the road, you're going to start to give up. But if you are working on your mindset and you're working on retraining your brain in all of this, then those bumps in the road, all they're going to be is bumps. They're not going to be mountains, but they're going to feel like mountains if you are not working on yourself personally. It is going to feel like you can't do it. And I've seen so many people give up on their dreams. And I've seen so many people come in and say, oh, I want this. I want to be a jewel. I want to be a diamond. I want to live the life that you are living. But they have not seen what happened behind the scenes. They haven't seen the stack of, 20 to 30 books that we've read. They want the knowledge, but they don't want to do the work. And you guys, if you will do that work, this is the stuff you're not going to see that paycheck increase immediately when you start working on personal growth. But I promise you that if you stick it out in the long haul, it starts to compound. The consistency compounds. Actually, that's a wonderful book, The Compound Effect. I'm reading it right now. But you guys, about the personal growth, here's the thing. It is literally the very, very first step to all of this, to mastering your mindset, is that you have to take ownership for it. That's the very first step. You have to take ownership for it, because if you do not take ownership over your thoughts, over your mindset, over all of this, then nothing is ever going to change in your life. And you're going to be sitting here. And I'm literally saying you have to take 100% ownership. You can't take 99.9% ownership. You can't take 90%, 80%, 50%. You have to take 100% ownership of these things, because if you don't, you will always find a way out. You will always have an excuse that you can run back to that will justify why you're making the decisions that you're making, or why you haven't reached whatever goal it is that you've put out there, or why you're not being successful. You can always fall back on that little percentage that you're not taking ownership of, because it's everybody else's fault. It's not yours. It's your unsupportive upline. It's your downline's fault. It's your sideline's fault. It's your kids. It's your spouse. It's whatever it is. I'm moving. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I mean, there's literally going to be a million things that are going to come up during this journey. And life's going to happen, right? Things are always going to happen. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to come up that are going to be outside of your control. But there is one thing that you can control, and that is you. That's the only thing that you can control. But if you don't take ownership of that, you'll always be able to drop back into those excuses. And you're doing yourself a disservice by not allowing yourself to move forward in that when you have those excuses. And here's the thing, you guys, your excuses are valid. I'm not saying that they're not real. I'm not saying that they're not a real problem or a real obstacle for you, or a real issue, or a real setback, or anything like that. I completely validate all of the things that you are feeling and all of the obstacles that you have. But, and there's a but here, yes, you have those things, you have those obstacles, you have those excuses, but the life that you want to live is worth pushing those excuses to the side and taking ownership and just saying, I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for this. I am going to do this no matter what. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter if people think I'm crazy. It doesn't matter if nobody else gets what I'm doing. I've had people say to me, how do you continually put yourself out there for rejection all the time? You know why I have been able to do that is because it is a daily battle, to a battle of your mind every single day. Sometimes it's every hour. Sometimes it feels like every second that you're having this check of like, oh my goodness, what am I thinking? Where is this thought leading down to? But you guys, I am literally living my dream right now. Okay. We had a goal that we wanted to pay off $100,000 in student loan debt. Okay. We did that in 15 months because of Plexus. We had a dream of reaching diamond before I was 30. We did that, you guys. There's so many things. We had a dream of moving to Tennessee and being closer to my parents, and we live right next door to them. And we were able to do that this year. You guys, all the things that were once just a vision on my dream board, it's my actual life now. But I can tell you that there were so many times that I thought, man, this is not going to happen. Who am I to run $1 million business? Oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom. You don't know how to do this, or you're too scatterbrained. You're not organized enough. All of these things that people have said about me, or that I have said about myself, you guys, we have to stop beating ourselves up. We have to stop believing those lies about ourselves. And so when you're mastering your mindset and you're taking ownership, call yourself out on stuff, okay? Surround yourself with people who are going to call you out on that, because it's not just going to affect your business, it's going to affect your entire life. The wife that my husband has now is completely different. The mom that my kids have now is so different than I was 4 years ago. We do personal growth together as a family. I do affirmations with my kids. Every day we say, you are brave, you are strong, you are smart, you are creative, you are loved. When they feel defeated and discouraged, they start saying those things on repeat. You guys, your brain is moldable. Did you know that? You actually have the ability to rewire your brain. You have thoughts that every time you think them, the groove in your brain gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Well, I've challenged you guys, take a day and kind of jot down some of the thoughts and some of the things that you are saying to yourself. Are you sitting down to do this and you're saying, I'm not a very good leader. I could never lead an Emerald team. I'm not very good at this. I'm just no good at recruiting. I can't do that. I can't develop leaders. I can't do live videos. I can't do Zooms. I can't run my own party. Nobody wants to hear what I have. Everybody thinks that it's too expensive. Okay, I mean, literally that feels heavy, right? You guys, like, our words have power. And so when you can sit down and have a shift in your mindset before you start doing work, right? You listen to a quick motivational video and you get yourself in the groove. But here's the thing about motivation, you guys, it's not always going to be there. That's the thing about personal growth. I don't wake up every day and jump out of bed and I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm just so excited for the day. I feel so motivated to run after my dreams. I never have a down moment. I'm jumping for joy all the time. No, I don't feel like that every single day. Most of the time, I don't even want to get out of bed. You know what I mean? It's like, just give me a few more minutes. But it is a choice. It is a choice to get up in the morning and to say, I choose joy. It is a choice to get up in the morning and to say, I am going to master my mindset. When a negative thought comes in, I am going to flip the script and I'm going to say something positive. And here's the amazing thing that happens, you guys, that kind of ties into the culture of what everyone has been talking about. When you start up leveling, you start lifting up all of the other people around you. A rising tide lifts all ships. You're not just affecting you, you're affecting your family, you're affecting your team's culture by bringing that joy, that positivity. It is contagious. You guys, it is contagious. And so other people are going to be drawn to you. They're going to want to be around you. They're going to want to hear the value that you're adding to their lives. And so you want to invest in yourself. You guys, I have invested in counseling. I have invested in personal growth, like coaches, trainings, masterminds, all of these different things. I have invested in that. And it's like, why would you pour money into yourself to learn and grow? Like, sometimes it seems a little bit weird, but you guys, you are so worth it. You are so worth growing and investing in to get to that next level. And so what I want to challenge you guys with is Bob Heilig always talks about how network marketing is personal growth with a compensation plan. And so if you are feeling like you are not making the income that you want to make, right, with Plexus, you're sitting there and you're like, what is going on? Why am I not farther along? Why do I feel stuck? What is happening here? I can guarantee you, like 100% guarantee you, it's mindset. Every single time it is mindset. And when you can start to work on your mindset and you can start to change those negative thoughts to positive ones, and you start pouring into yourself and you start reading those books, I'm just like Steph. I cannot read physical copies of books. I'm like an audio junkie. And I actually used to tell myself my whole life that I'm a slow reader. I had to take a course in college about reading comprehension because I was such a slow reader. And so I just said, I don't read books. I don't do that. Okay. But then I realized that I was like, that's just an excuse. Like, figure it out, Megan. There's another way around it. And so I decided, you know what? I'm jumping into audiobooks, and that's what I'm doing. And I have finished so many books. I've lost count of them. And you soak in that knowledge and then you pass it along to the other people on your team. That's Alita shared. That's what you do as a leader. like what Steph is sharing, you learn those nuggets of wisdom and then you just pass them along to other people. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to have any of those things. You don't have to be a diamond yet to be able to share wisdom like a diamond. But you better believe that you're a diamond, right? You got to believe those things, because when you believe those things about who you are, what you can do, what you're capable, believing that your dreams are possible, the actions will follow. But it's the mindset first. You have to jump first and everything else will follow. You have to believe that you can first, and then the steps will come. It's not the other way around. And so I just want to challenge you guys. Think about the things that you are thinking about. Invest in personal growth, whether that means, getting a book or attending some coaching or something like that. But invest in yourself. You are so worth it, you guys. And there's so many other free resources. I'm not knocking free resources. I think that they're fantastic. I've soaked up so much knowledge on YouTube and podcasts and all these other things, you guys. But if you want to dive in, you really want to start growing personally, you are going to see your business grow massively when you invest in the personal growth. And it's not all like sunshine and rainbows when you're doing personal growth. It's kind of hard because you're looking inside of yourself. You're willing to look at the hard things that are happening. Like, why am I acting this way? Why do I do the things that I do? And you're looking at all of that, and it can get really messy, and it can feel, just, I'm not sure of the word, but it can get messy, okay, when you're doing personal growth. But you guys, there's so much freedom on the other side of that. Like being willing to dig down deep and uncover, like, what are those limiting beliefs that you have? I had limiting beliefs after I hit Emerald that you could not be a really great businesswoman and a really amazing mom. That was something that I struggled with. And you guys, through a lot of personal growth and counseling, I realized, you know what? You can actually have both. You can have both with healthy boundaries, and it's such an amazing thing. So I hope that helped you guys. I hope that it inspired you guys. Take your thoughts captive. Take notes this week. I want to challenge you, when thoughts come into your head, I want you to kind of jot some of those things down. It will be incredibly eye-opening for you, and just constantly be surrounding yourself with that positivity, with that motivation, because you're not always going to feel motivated, but you can get yourself into gear because you can be disciplined and you can make those choices.
That was literally the best. Like, there was that one moment I thought, I need to pull it together because I actually think I'm going to cry. Like, I'm actually going to cry up on here. And it reminded me of something I heard, Megan, and I was going to share that. It's that most of us want to live our life in the creek, and it's fun, but it's muddy. But we're okay with it. I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to walk with mud. It's going to be in my toes. It's going to be on the bottom of my jeans, but it's okay because it's easy and it's fun. It's only the people that are willing to go into the deeper water and actually have to do a little bit of work and a little bit of swimming that are going to experience a less muddy life. And so that is what triggered in me. That was beautiful. It truly was. And I know that I've seen you grow leaps and bounds, and it just inspires me to invest that time into myself. And I hope that each one of you realize that your success is completely tied to what you're willing to invest in your mindset, like Megan said. So this was a killer night. I can't wait to post the recording. You guys are all incredible for staying on. I know some of you are Eastern time zone, but let this serve you, grow you, and stretch you so that you can have the success of your dreams. All right. Happy Monday night to all of you. Good night.